All right, everyone, welcome back. This is part 3, the final part. Have I had that right? Yeah, I did. I'm backwards. The final part of Ask the King, episode 60 for July 7th, 2016. Let us get right to it. The final questions, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I thought this was the final forum question. I was wrong. The next question is from Rockman303, and he says, Phil, I've got a bit of a personal question. I'm a 24-year-old African-American male who loves rock and metal, wrestling, video games. I have a girlfriend who's Caucasian. For the past 3 years and throughout my life, I've been teased and bullied for not being black enough, and even called a sellout for not liking a lot of the things in black culture, such as rap music, women of my own race, and for speaking articulately. I never seem to fit in with a lot of people of my own kind. Do you have any tips of overcoming it? Well, I certainly cannot speak from that perspective because obviously I'm white. I would be a really ignorant asshole to say, oh yeah, I know all about it, let me tell you. No, what I can tell you is from my perspective. When I was growing up, okay, at first, it's kind of weird. It was two completely separate situations. When I was growing up, my neighborhood was primarily minorities, and what I mean by that is non-white people. They were moving into the neighborhood. My next door neighbors on both sides were actually from Puerto Rico, and then I actually had another friend of mine who was black, and really I only had one white friend in my neighborhood when I was a kid. Most of the kids in my neighborhood were more minorities, and because of that, I was actually treated as like the odd kid out. Like, oh, that Phil, he's the one, his parents do these weird things that our parents don't do, and this and that, and they would always come over. And for me, I was always raised of the mentality that if I had a toy or if I had something that I was playing with, I had to like treat it pristine, right? Now, I'm not saying don't take it out of the packaging. I'm saying when you play with it, you treat it, you clean it off, you be careful. These kids was like, oh, look, it's a toy, and they'd smash it against a brick wall, would break it to a million pieces, and if you got upset with them, they would literally be like, I don't understand why you're upset. That's what you do with toys. You break them. So for me, it was like a different culture clash. Or in my culture, everything was about being clean and pristine and being careful and all of that, and they were like not like that just because that's how they were raised, right? And then when I ended up going to high school and college, ended up being almost the polar opposite. So I was white, but I wasn't rich. And almost all of the kids who I went to school with in my, later years of schooling were more kind of upper class, white people who had tons of money. Their families owned businesses. My best friend in high school, his dad was a contractor who owned his own business. He owned multiple homes. He owned a boat. He had like multiple cars. He bought his son a freaking Camaro to drive around. And for me, it's like, I don't have anything like that. I'm very, very middle class. The most I'm scraping, a few bucks together here or there to do stuff. And I didn't have any kind of crazy amount of money like this guy had. This guy had a stocked bar at his house. We would have wild parties and stuff. It was just out of control. So it was kind of the flip side. So really, it didn't matter where I was. I never really fit in. I was either I don't want to say upper class, but just like a different culture. When I was younger in my neighborhood, I was the one white kid, the odd man out. And then when I went to school, I ended up being the poor kid, the kid who doesn't have a lot of money or a lot of opportunity or anything like that. Like everyone else around me had all this money or whatever, and I didn't have it. So for me, it was never like I never fit in, right? And in particular, in high school, I could tell you, in high school, the kids were just, you had to be in a clique. If you weren't in a clique in high school, you were like you were ostracized. You were the black sheep, right? So there were the jocks. There were the kind of almost minorities in the school who kind of hung out together and did stuff together like that. There were kids who were kind of athletic, but they weren't the jocks. They were more like mid-level athletic. There were the more artsy-fartsy kids who went out and did things like, the art club, or they did the musicals or the plays and stuff like that. There really were, and they were like, then of course you have, like I said, the upper class echelon kids who were rich, and they were like, oh, we're part of the Key Club, and we're all about, doing the, God, what was it called? I can't remember. You know, like charity stuff and stuff like that, because they felt they had to give back to society because they were rich, so we have to give back so we feel good about ourselves and stuff like that. And by the way, I'm not saying every key club's like that. I'm saying very much in my school, that's what it was like. It was like, oh, we're rich, so we had to give back to these underprivileged people. I didn't fit into any of those. And really, you know, it was like people to me were just kind of like, who are you? You don't really have an identity. You know, when I look at Phil, I don't see the nerd. I don't see the jock. I don't see the bully, but I certainly don't see the kid, you know, who's the wimp. But I don't see, you know, I didn't fit into anything in high school. And because of that, I almost became kind of my own group. We were kind of like the outsiders. It was me and my best friend. And then later on, we brought in like 2 or 3 other people who always hung out with us. And we really were kind of like the outsider group. We didn't have anything to do with anyone else. And it wasn't even like we had things in common necessarily. It was kind of more like our thing in common was that we didn't have anything else in common with other people. Really weird, I know. But that was kind of it, because it was funny, because myself and my best friend were more into geeky stuff. Like, we liked video games, and we liked stuff like that. But also, we were kind of into sports. At one point, we were actually going to join the lacrosse team, and we were preparing for it. We were practicing for it and everything. And then I had one kid who was kind of like, he didn't want to be in sports. He didn't want nothing. He just wanted to kind of be like, almost like a bum. But he was funny. He was a funny kid, and a lot of people got along with him. And then we had another kid that was just a weirdo. I mean, and he had some issues up here, I think, because of some of the weird shit that he did. But the bottom line is this, at least from my perspective, you're never going to perfectly fit in. You're not. And in fact, these people who perfectly fit into these groups, right, what they're basically doing is they're conforming, and they're giving up some of their originality for the sake of, oh, I don't want to be the one who's picked on, right? I want to be the one who's protected because I conform with this certain group. And obviously, if there's other people who are just like me, there must be something right with what I'm being, right? Now, I'm not saying that in your life you should actively try to not fit in with anyone. It's okay if you find people with similar interests or similar, likes and similar things that you like to do. It's fine to meld or gel with those people. That's perfectly cool. But you shouldn't feel massively pressured to do so just so that you can fit in and not be bullied. You know what I mean? And the bottom line is, people who are going to bully you and say, well, you don't fit in, you're so weird and different, haha, like your particular situation here. So I'm black, but I don't like the things that other black kids like rap and stuff like that, and I don't like to date, black girls. So what? Everyone should have the ability to choose. Everyone should have that. And if they choose something that's not the societal norm, well, so what? Everyone's different. Everyone's an individual. If everyone were the same, if every person who was white was this preppy rich kid, and every kid who was black was into rap and into urban stuff and stuff like that, and every Asian was into, oh, I'm totally into kung fu and anime, but I'm also a nerdy kid who's good at math, and if everyone was the stereotype, the world would be fucking boring as shit. Because it would all be predetermined by what you were born, and we don't control that. I wasn't controlled that I was born white, and I didn't choose. There was no, when I was, wherever I came from, there was no checklist. Would you like to be this, or this? And then you push one and you gamble on what you got, right? That's not the case. So why would you hold it against anyone that they were born something and they decide that maybe they like something else that's not the norm or not the stereotype or generalization for what they typically are? I think it's stupid. I don't think color should factor into anything. I've always said that. I've had friends in my entire life of any color. I don't care what fucking color you are. That's the last thing on my mind when I meet someone is the color of their skin. Seriously, I don't see color. I don't see color at all. I don't see it. I judge people based off of, do we have something in common? How do they behave towards me? You know what I mean? Like, things that make sense. And if anything, the internet, right, in this day and age, has really made it a more anonymous thing. I have fans, I have viewers, I have people who I talk to on a regular basis over the internet. I don't know what they are. I don't care what background you come from, what color your skin is, what cultural norms you're supposed to have. If you like my stuff, great. We're all of the same mindset then, and that's an awesome thing that we all have in common. I don't care if there's some kid who likes my stuff, but he's being told that he should like this. That's ridiculous. I don't understand how people can be like that. Honestly, it's because they're insecure. So, if you're in one of these cliques and you see a kid who maybe, is not like you, but is supposed to be, now you feel, well, maybe, I second guess myself. Maybe this clique isn't, oh man, I got to make it so that it looks like this clique is the right choice. Because if that kid makes it cool to be different, right? Now I'm not different. So now I'm not cool anymore, and I'll be the one that'll be bullied and won't be. It's ridiculous. These castes and these cliques and things that we form are so fucking stupid. Get over it. It's so kiddie. It's like you're so afraid of being trampled over in life and being made fun of or whatever and not being taken seriously that you really feel that you need to conform. I mean, no, I've never been like that. You know, I've never conformed to anything. And look at me, right? Like, that's why I think a lot of the times people don't really like things that I do or say. I don't conform to YouTube norms. Certainly not. If anything, I'm the polar opposite of what it is, the archetype of success for being a gaming YouTuber, right? But I pride myself on that I'm different, that I'm opinionated, you know, that I try to be different and I try to be fair, and I'm not doing this for money and I'm not doing this for fame. I'm doing it for the love of doing it, and to say that I feel that there's legitimacy to what I do, you know? And I'm not an actor. I'm not a full-time entertainer, even though you may be entertained by what I do. That's not what my goal isn't, to just sit here and make you laugh like I'm a clown or something. You know, I pride myself on that. And you should strive to be yourself and to find something individual to you that you like. And if it fits in with the cultural norms or not, whatever, be yourself. Now, it's going to be tough. You're always going to have people who are going to try to hold you down. You're always going to have people who are going to make fun of you and say, you're not like us. You're not like what it's supposed to be. But they're probably doing it because they're insecure themselves. Like I said, God forbid that they look at themselves and realize maybe what I'm doing isn't the cool thing, and that person's cooler than me, right? Or that's the more appealing or fun thing to do. Now I got to bring them down because I'm not like them. The whole negativity, drama, cliquey fucking bullshit about youth is just so silly. And I'm so happy to be out of it. I am. Like, I see it happen on YouTube all the time. People get pulled into this shit. And I'm like, I'm so past it. I'm 34 years old. Like, I don't have to worry about that shit ever again. Even though it's funny because YouTubers everything, the gaming industry, very cliquey. I'm not a hipster. I'm not a geek. But I'm also not like the entertainer style YouTuber. I don't fit in with anyone on YouTube. You can't fit me into any kind of an archetype on YouTube. So therefore, I'm the black sheep of YouTube. But fuck it. I'll do what I want. I'll do it my way. And the bottom line is, I've been here since 2008. I've done this for a living since 2011. I'm still fucking here. I'm still going strong. I'm not going anywhere. Doesn't matter what people throw at me, what name they call me or whatever, how they group me. Oh, he's not like this or that. He's doing this wrong. I'm going to be me. And I'm okay with that. As long as I'm true to myself, I'm okay with that. Right? And I'm still here. So someone's looking out for me, right? Because I'm still here and I'm still able to do it. All right. Let's keep going. The next question is from... Oh, okay, this was a combination question. Two people asked the same question, so I combined it. Am I playing Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD in December? That's both from Tyler Simba and Haseo X, or Hasex, I don't know how to pronounce it, Hasex4. And the answer is no. No. No, no, no. I have no interest in playing Kingdom Hearts 2.8. I'll be honest, I really don't have any interest in playing Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, which people have been trying to get me to play for the greater part of a year. I don't want to play every fucking spin-off of Kingdom Hearts to get the coherent story out of the game. The bottom line is, I said this before on Ask the King, and I'll say it again. Kingdom Hearts is pretty much the most convoluted plotline ever because they wanted to make money. Not because they wanted to make quality games, not because they wanted to actually, like, make the story better, just because they wanted to make money. So what did Square Enix do? Excuse me. What did Square Enix do? They went ahead and they released 900 spin-off titles. Birth by Sleep, Memory by Chain of Bullshit, fucking mobile version, online version, iOS version, diddly dicks, and everyone supposedly has critical story in it that you need to understand. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I want to play Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't want to play every Kingdom Hearts spin-off. I just don't. I don't care enough about it. I like it. I don't love it. I'm not a fanboy of it, and I certainly don't want to spend ridiculous hours of time sinking gameplay into all these fucking games. I just don't. I own the collection that has Birth by Sleep, and I have no desire to even play that. Why would I play another $60 collection to play one game that's kind of okay? Everyone says it's not a great game, but you need to play it to understand the story. Fuck that. I think most Kingdom Hearts fans should, at this point, say, fuck that. Just release Kingdom Hearts 3 and stop milking us with re-releases and shit. Fuck this stupid shit. Release the fucking game. Now, it just so happens that this particular December, when Kingdom Hearts 2.8 HD is being released, South Park, The Fractured Butthole, as well as Dead Space, as well as Dead Rising 4 are being released that same month. Plus, I do my year-end series in December. So I'm going to be really fucking busy this December with good stuff. I don't need to waste my time on filler content of an RPG I don't fucking care about to get a snippet of story to understand Kingdom Hearts 3. Square Enix can shove their collection up their fucking collective asses. I want the third game. Fucking release it. Enough with the bullshit and milking your customer base. There you have it. Alright. Next question is from Teddy. In fact, the next few questions are pretty much all about games and if I'm going to play them, so allow me to answer them in more of a rapid-fire session here. From Teddy, I know I keep nagging you about this, but tell me, are you going to do a Final Fantasy IX playthrough? The game was finally released on Steam and it looks good. I would love to play Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy IX is one of the mainstream Final Fantasies I never played, okay? People say it's more like a classic one, and it's really good. It's much better than 8, supposedly. So I would like to play it. The problem is, RPGs don't do well on YouTube. They just don't, okay? I couldn't drop everything I wanted to do or everything I was doing to play Final Fantasy IX because I would go out of business. But it's definitely something that could be done as a playthrough that I balance with other stuff in between. And, excuse me, I don't know why I'm burping so much. I'm all just drinking a bottle of water. Indigestion from the Kingdom Hearts question. And the summer, as you know, July in particular, and it looks like about a whole week of August, there's not a lot going on. There's a huge opportunity for me to maybe do something like this. The problem being, I'm still playing Persona 3. I need to finish Persona 3 before I consider playing another RPG, period. There's no way I could play another JRPG when I'm still playing Persona 3. I'm going to be playing it tomorrow night. I'm going to be focusing on it more next week to try to get through this game. I need to finish it by the end of July so I can finish it. Say, now I can maybe do something new. So, no RPGs are on the table until I finish Persona 3, which hopefully I do by the end of this month. But I'm just saying, the patron goal, that's wrong, the Patreon goal for this month, if we hit the funding level for this month, is Patron's Choice returning. Final Fantasy IX could be a prime contender for that. So keep it in mind, patrons. If you want to see me maybe play Final Fantasy IX, or any game for that matter, pledge this month $5 or more, and then you can nominate and vote on a game for me to play in the future. Alright. From Hydra Gundam Fury... From Hydra Gundam Furry. What a name. Phil, are you going to play Suikoden 1 in the future? Guess what? Same exact answer as Final Fantasy IX. I'd like to play it. I can't play it till I finish Persona 3, and a strong possibility would be if it wins a poll for Patron's Choice. Last game question like that. From Christian Osborne, 1996. I recently heard that Batman Return to Arkham has been indefinitely delayed, and recently I've been playing Arkham Asylum myself. Do you have any thoughts on this trilogy being postponed? Okay. If you're not aware, the Batman Arkham trilogy of games, starting with Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and I guess Arkham Knight. I guess not Arkham Knight because that wouldn't make sense, but I guess the first two games were supposed to be re-released in a Return to Arkham collection, modernizing them for modern consoles, improving the graphics, improving the frame rate, basically making them more modern games. You know, it looks better. And they were supposed to be released at the end of July. In fact, I had it on my calendar. July 26th was the collection. I was thinking of getting it to replay Arkham Asylum. Well, recently they've been showing off footage of the games. Oh, here it is. And people were like, something doesn't look right. So they started doing side-by-side comparisons of the original games on Xbox 360 and PS3 and comparing those visuals with the ones on the new version. And they're like, the originals actually look better. Like, there's more lighting, there's more detail. Overall, it looks better. How could you redo a game for modern consoles that looks worse? It doesn't make any sense. So I think after all this criticism, the game designers realized if they released the games as is, that they were going to flop. So I think they're going back to the drawing board and saying, we got to fix this. We got to go back and redo it so that it looks better because people are not going to spend money to replay games at looking worse. It doesn't make sense. How can you put on a newer, more modern console more power that looks worse? I guess maybe they were just bad ports or something. I don't know. But they're canceled for now. Now, in the future, would I consider replaying them? Yes, but I probably would only consider replaying Arkham Asylum at this point, being that was one of the games on YouTube. Now, I still wasn't doing it full time, and I wasn't making money doing it. But I remember Arkham Asylum, I was so hyped for. I took time off of work. I actually took 2 days, vacation days, off of work to go pick up the game. I started playing it. I recorded it for like 8 hours the first day. Uploaded all the footage to my YouTube channel. And the next day played it again and beat it. And uploaded all that footage. Within 2 days, I had the entire playthrough live on my YouTube channel. And the views were going whoop because I was one of the few people who did that back then. Now, of course, everyone does it because you can make money doing it. I did it before you could ever make a dime doing it. So, like, I kind of hold that game in my heart as one of the more modern games that I played it. And I was like, this game is fucking amazing. It's a masterpiece. It's fun. It's original. It's true to the characters. The graphics are great. The plot and the acting are great. Everything about this game is great. And I loved it, and that's really what kind of got me hooked on doing playthroughs on YouTube, was playing great games like Arkham Asylum. I would love to replay it, you know, I would. It's been a long time since I played it, so let's see what happens. Let's see if they do re-release it with a quality game engine that looks good and all that. Right now, they said it's indefinitely, which means probably they're redoing a ton of shit because they thought that it was so subpar. So let's see what happens. All right. Now on to the Twitter questions, and then that's it. So we got a lot of Twitter questions this time around. First off, from Andrew Benjamin, he asked the following. What are your thoughts on Roman Reigns getting suspended for a drug violation? Do you think that he can still be a WWE main eventer? I mean, first off, it does need to be said that at least it's been released specifically, which I haven't heard. We don't know what was the violation that Roman Reigns has with WWE. All we know is he has a wellness policy violation. There have been many things over the years. Steroids and or illegal growth hormone, okay? There have been people who it wasn't what you think. Like, you think steroids, you think, oh, he's injecting shit into his ass so he could roid up and be a roided dude. There were people like Sin Cara, the old Sin Cara, not the one that from now, but the original Sin Cara had a knee injury. He went to Mexico. And in Mexico, they injected his knee with steroids to help him heal. He came back to the WWE and failed the drug test. Now, obviously, he wasn't taking steroids to bulk up. He wanted his knee to heal quickly. And in Mexico, it's legal. So that was a legal Mexican treatment to fix an injury. It's not necessarily in the United States. What is this injury, or what is this injury? What is this violation that Roman Reigns has? Was it something to do with drug abuse when it comes to roiding up or whatever? Was it something stupid like he smoked marijuana and just happened to have the test in the next week and it showed up on the test that he was smoking pot? You know, what could it be? And that's the thing, we don't know. There's been many superstars in WWE that have had repeated violations. Randy Orton's one of them. He's had 2 strikes. So one more strike, Randy Orton's technically done. But the question is, like, what were the violations? And a lot of them don't ever come to light. We don't ever get a full explanation of what was it that was the violation. So, we don't know. And you can't judge. How do you judge someone? Or how do you even comment when you don't know the full situation? You know what I mean? All you can do is speculate. I mean, I can tell you this. If it's something like steroids, that's fucking stupid. This guy's at the top of the company. Even though the people who watch the product hate him, they're booing him nonstop on television, WWE still gives him the title, still has him headline WrestleMania, even though no one cares about him and doesn't want to see him hold the title nor be in any main events. They keep pushing him as the face of the company, right? And that is the opportunity where you say, I'm just going to coast. I'm going to do what I'm told. Do the John Cena. Do what you're told. Don't do anything stupid. Be the poster boy. Make a ridiculous amount of fucking money. That's all he had to do. So what did he do? Like, how dumb can you be that you fuck up when you're at the top, right? But again, we don't specifically know what it is that he was caught out for, this wellness policy violation. At least I don't know. So I can't comment. Will WWE push him as a main eventer? Well, they've pushed Randy Orton as a main eventer after his wellness policy violations. So, being that this is his first chance, maybe they really, listen, we had all our faith in you. We're going to punish you for a little bit, but you're going to come back strong, and later on we're going to re-push you back to where you were. Being that the fans weren't behind Roman Reigns to begin with, maybe at this point that's it for him. I don't know. I still see, because the Shield now is at the top of WWE, I see maybe having the Shield be like the top echelon until maybe late this year, when maybe for the build-up to WrestleMania, you see something different happen. But I could certainly see the Shield going at it in a circle for a while. So, I don't know. I don't know. Without concrete information, I can't necessarily comment. But boy, is it a dumb thing when you're at the top of the motherfucking company to do something like that. The only other situation I can ever remember in WWE that was similar to this was Rob Van Dam. He had just, this was when they had made ECW, excuse me, its own show. And they had an ECW title and a WWE title. And Rob Van Dam was so over with the fans, they made him both the ECW and the WWE champion at the same time, okay? He was the unified champion. He had 2 fucking belts. The ratings were up. It was white hot. The idiot went driving with Sabu, his old friend from ECW, and these two were infamous potheads. They went out drinking. They went out smoking. They got pulled over like the night of or the night after he won the title, okay, with all drugs in the car. I mean, can you be any stupider? I don't think anyone ever accused Rob Van Dam of being a genius, okay? And he's not a genius. He's just a good performer, and he's an all-around kind of nice guy. But you're at the top of the world. Who would have ever thought that the WWE would have made Rob Van Dam their top guy? He immediately blew it. Immediately, you know? So that's kind of the same thing. Roman Reigns, top guy. The difference here is everyone liked RVD. Everyone was rooting for RVD, and he blew it. No one liked Roman Reigns. I don't know. Let's move on. Squandered potential. All right, from Jacko Pengilly. Would you go back to the PlayStation 2 HD collections like Ratchet and Clank 3 and Jak 3 now that there aren't major releases coming? Yes and no. Those things never really get any kind of attention. I would consider playing them if I could balance them with something else that would obviously be interesting to people. So if I'm doing one thing that's fun, you know, it's a hot thing that people are enjoying me play, and then I do that as a secondary playthrough, yes. Am I going to drop everything to play Jak 3 or Ratchet and Clank 3 in July? No. Because then I won't make money. I won't pay my bills. Same thing with RPGs. They don't get a lot of attention, you know. It's not like the old days where every single game that I played got insane attention. Those days are gone. All right, next question. This is actually from the Aryan Lord. He says, was there ever a university or college besides the one that you went to that you wanted to go to but you didn't have the chance? Sure. There were 3 of them. 2 of them were called Harvard and Yale because I had straight A's in high school, I coasted through all my academics, and I was the valedictorian. Now, it's funny because I mentioned to you that I wasn't with the nerdy group of kids. I wasn't. I wasn't considered the nerdy group of kids. I was actually the enigma, where I was able to ace everything, but I wasn't the kid who had my head in the books all day. I just had this natural talent to be a book-learning person. I would absorb things in class, I would read the books and study at home, and without maximum effort, I would able to ace everything, okay? I had extracurriculars under my belt. I was in silly things like the chess club and stuff like that, comic book club, but I was also in the drama and musical clubs, and I actually had I was doing volunteer work. I was actually working at a Jewish home for the elderly that was right nearby my school. So I had like all this big thing of extracurricular stuff that I had built up over the time that I was in high school just for preparing for college, and I applied to both Yale and Harvard. But here's the catch. Here's the fucking catch, ladies and gentlemen. I applied for financial aid. And that was my mistake. Because the bottom line is, one of 2 things. If I was in the know, I had friends or relatives who had gone to those Ivy League schools, or if I were rich and I could have paid the entire insanely high tuition of those colleges, or if my parents were rich and were able to send, we're going to just donate money to your college, please let our son in, I would have gotten in. The problem was, as I've already mentioned, I wasn't rich. I was very middle class, didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't have money to go to college. So I needed to get financial aid, and basically, just off of that premise, it wasn't my extracurriculars, it wasn't my academics, it was based off the fact that I wasn't a rich white person. I was denied entry to those colleges. It wasn't the qualifications, because by the way, there were 2 or 3, I think it was 3 kids from my high school, none of which had anywhere near my grade point average, all right? But they were into athletics. So guess what? They got into Ivy League. What the fuck? So the purpose of college is to get an education. But you admit kids to your college who aren't as smart as kids who are smart and work harder because you want them to play sports. That's how colleges work in the United States. So it's not about actually educating people anyway. It's about money. So they wanted these kids to come play sports for them so that they could make money. And they let them into Ivy League schools. And by the way, those kids are off and are rich. They're filthy rich. I tell you right now, they're all filthy rich because I know 2 of them, they went on to these brilliant careers and stuff that had nothing to do with fucking sports. They're filthy rich because they went to Ivy League schools. Not me. No, not me, because I wasn't in. Because I was smart. God forbid. I was blessed with intelligence, not with massive athletic skills. So because of that, I can't get into a school that's supposed to be for intelligence. There was one other college I did want to go to. It was called Boston College. And I applied to it. And similarly to the school that I ended up going to, Fairfield University, I did get accepted, and I did get granted financial aid. But, catch-22 here, I was granted financial aid and a scholarship, but it was a partial scholarship, okay? And being that this was in Boston, Massachusetts, so I would have had to move from Connecticut to Boston, Massachusetts. It would have been an expensive move. My parents would have had to buy a lot of things for me. They wouldn't have seen me a lot. The college was much more expensive than if I had just stayed home and went to Fairfield University, okay? And I wanted to go badly. I was like, man, that would have been awesome if I moved out of my parents' place. I moved to Boston. I made friends in Boston, right? Had a life in Boston, Massachusetts, completely separate from anything in Connecticut. And maybe could have got connections there or whatever. It would have been, my life could have been very, very different. Because the bottom line is this: if I had moved out of Connecticut to Boston, Massachusetts for college, I would not have been playing Street Fighter anymore. I would have given up the competitive Street Fighter thing that I was doing during that time period to focus on college and making friends. In my life, I could have never been involved with the internet ever, never made a video. It could have been a completely different life from where I am now. But the main decision that led to me not going to Boston College was financial, because of my parents. And the bottom line is this: my parents told me, they said, Phil, we want you to go. Actually, I take that back. They said Philip. They always call me Philip. They never call me Phil. They said, Philip, we want you to be happy. We want you to go where you want to go. So if you want to go to the more expensive college, we are absolutely willing to let you go. But understand, it's a more financial burden and everything, and yada, yada, yada. And I looked at the options, okay? And I said, well, if I go to Fairfield University, I'll have this much of a loan that I'll have to take out in my name. If I go to Boston College, I'll have this much of a loan that I'll have to take out in my name, which was a much higher loan. Plus, the financial burden on my parents was going to be more initially to even pay the tuition, because, like I said, the scholarship that I was offered for Boston College was much less than the one that I was offered for Fairfield University. And there was also the factor that at Fairfield University, I'm at home, so I'm not paying for room and board. I'm not paying for tons of moving costs or anything like that, versus everything moving to Boston would have been very expensive. So I looked at everything and I said, potential new life, restarting my own life in Boston, but financial burden on both me and my parents for an extended period of time for my own personal whatever pleasure, gain, whatever you want to call it, or biting the bullet, staying home, kind of just doing what I was doing all along, being a Street Fighter player and all of that, but also going to college and maybe getting a job around here rather than going to Boston and starting a new life. And yeah, there would be financial burdens, but it would be much less on myself and my parents in particular, paying much less money for me to go to Fairfield University than it was for Boston College. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing, not thinking of myself. And I decided to go to Fairfield U instead. So I had the opportunity to start a whole new life, and I gave it up because I didn't want to put that kind of crazy burden on my parents. Now, who knows what would have happened? I could have went to Boston, and it could have went wrong, too. I could have went out there and hated it, and now all that money, I don't know. You never know. You can't really second-guess yourself in life, right? If this was only a video game where you could go back to that critical choice, make the other choice, and play it out, and see how it would have happened. But that's not it. This isn't Life is Strange. We can't rewind and see what would have happened. I could have been a crazy different person right now than I am if that were the situation. I don't know. But there's your answer. Okay. Next question from Richard Gillis. He says, would you be interested in playing any new fighter instead of Street Fighter V? Yeah, I'm actually going to be checking out King of Fighters 14 in late August. Now, it's going to be a little tough because it comes out the same day as the new Deus Ex game. But I'm interested in it, and I'm gonna give it a go and see what it's like. So, King of Fighters, I'll be playing. And, I mean, if there are any new, like, for example, the new Tekken, whenever it fucking releases, still doesn't have a solid release date, I'd like to play the new Tekken, even though it's been out in fucking arcades for a million years, whenever that comes out. And, yeah, Injustice 2, when that comes out, I'll be playing all the new ones. Street Fighter V is not the be-all and end-all of fighting games for me, trust me. I've grown and matured, and I realize there's other things out there outside of Street Fighter. From Tom, or actually, you know what? He's better known as Ghost23. What is your attitude with Rich from ReviewTechUSA? That's an interesting question. I don't know that I have any kind of an attitude or even relationship with Rich from ReviewTechUSA. I know who he is. I know he has a successful YouTube channel and presence. I don't know why people seem to talk about us in relation to each other sometimes. I don't get it. I'll be honest with everyone. I know that Leanna used to watch some of his videos. I know that, because I've seen her sometimes watching them. I know sometimes she would talk with him on Twitter about stuff. I don't know what it was about. I don't care. It's not my business, right? But I don't watch his videos. I had nothing to do with them. And all I know is that at one point, all of a sudden, my Twitter started getting spammed with stuff from him and or his viewers about, like, dudes who are not, like, hairy dudes showing their nipples off, like, silly, stupid shit. So here I am on Twitter. Everyone knows my Twitter, you know, is, yes, it's personal, but it's also for business. So imagine I'm trying to get feedback on what I did today in my videos. And I go to Twitter to see, gee, what's everyone's feedback on this new thing I did? As a bunch of white and fat naked dudes with hairy nipples and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid shit. I don't want this on my Twitter. So I just started blocking things. Apparently, at one point, I blocked Rich from ReviewTech. And he noticed and said something like, gee, I guess Phil blocked me. I don't know what I did or something. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that when I see nonsense on my Twitter, I get rid of it so that I can actually do work on Twitter or get feedback and talk to people on Twitter and not have that kind of stupid shit going on my Twitter. So, apparently, at one point, Rich got a bug up his ass about me blocking him on Twitter, and he started, like, repeatedly trying to tweet me, even though he knew he was blocked. He would put that period in front of my name so he could still tweet me. Even though I wouldn't see his tweets, I would see all his viewers would tweet and retweet what he tweeted, and I would get the tweets anyway. You know, I'm so just not caring about this stupid, dumb shit. I don't give a fuck about any of this silly, like, this is like college dorm room frat shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was past this 10 years ago when I was done with college. I was done with this kind of hijinks. So I don't care about it. I just ignored it. So then, 2 months ago, my incident happened on YouTube. I'm not going to go into detail about it. And everyone on the internet talked about it and covered it for a couple days, and then it went away. Predictably, no one cares about it anymore, okay? Rich, in particular, covered it. And surprisingly enough, someone said, Phil, did you know that not only did Rich cover it, but he, like, did the most positive video ever about you? Did you see it? And I was like, I don't really care, but you know what? A viewer showed it, sent it. Maybe it's a trick. I'm going to click it, and, you know. And Rich made, like, a really nice video. He was like, you know, this thing happened to Phil. It's obvious if you watch the video, it wasn't intentional. It's legitimately a mistake. And he was, like, really embarrassed about it. And at first, maybe he may have tried to lie about it, but then he fessed up to it. He manned up to it. And, you know, anyone else, if they had done something like this and then they tried to vehemently deny that it was what happened, probably could have been the end of their YouTube career, but Phil's taking it in stride. He's joking about it. Look at his Twitter avatar. He even has an internet meme that's comparing him to an ongoing internet meme. This is the right way to go about it, and I think he's going to be okay. And even went out of his way to say in his video, I don't have a good relationship with the guy or anything. I'm not trying to kiss his ass or whatever, but I like the way that he went about it. And, you know, when he made that video and he kind of said that, or actually, I take it back. I don't think it was the video. I think actually he had tweeted positively about me. And when I heard that he had said something positive about it, I said, whatever, I'll unblock him. So I unblocked him off of Twitter. And he made the video that was a really nice video. And that's it. Like, that's it. I still have no relation to Rich at ReviewTech. I don't directly really talk to him. Every once in a while, maybe there's a tweet that one of my followers retweets, and I see it. And then I was like, oh, that's something interesting, and I'll respond to it. But no, I don't have a direct relation with him. I don't talk to him. We don't have any relation in our videos or anything like that. Although it's funny, because you would think otherwise, because apparently Rich has a group of haters, much like I have a group of fucking nudniks, right? Who constantly just go out of their way to make his life a living hell. They make nasty Twitter accounts about him. They have YouTube channels, entire YouTube channels about him. Nasty shit. They send it to me. Like, I'll be on Twitter, and they'll be like, oh, Rich from ReviewTech is a hypocrite. Here's why. Blah, 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 blah. And then they'll tweet me on it. And I respond like, why are you fucking sending me this? Like, why the fuck would I care? I'm not a drama queen idiot like you. Don't send me your fucking, your fecal garbage on Twitter. And I blocked them. And that's happened a few times. I don't understand why they got to involve me in their fucking stupid witch hunt for Rich, or that he does stuff wrong. I don't know what Rich does, you know, in general on YouTube. I don't watch his videos. I don't care. I don't fucking care. People gotta bother me with stupid shit. Like, I don't care about him. Seemed to me like he did me a solid during a time period there when stuff might have gone south. It was nice of him to say the positive things that he did. So I unblocked him on Twitter, and since then, I haven't heard anything negative in regards to Rich. So that's it. That's all I have to say. I don't love the guy. I don't hate the guy. I certainly don't even know much about the guy. So why the fuck would I say anything about him? Why would I care? All I know is he seemed to be nice to me in May. So thanks, Rich, for that. If you hear this, that was nice of you. And now we can all move on. I don't, you know, I'm the last person to ask about other YouTubers. Seriously, I really am. Okay. Unbelievable. Next question. Actually, there's only like a couple left. Yeah. From Solid Nemesis 94. Have you watched the Angry Video Game Nerd on YouTube? If so, what are your thoughts about him? Wow. Obviously, this person is not a longtime follower of mine, because I said way back when I started on YouTube, Angry Video Game Nerd James Ralph is actually one of the two people who inspired me to make videos on the internet. It was him and the Nostalgia Critic. Those were the two guys who I was watching all of their stuff on the internet, and I said, wow, these guys, they don't have a huge production budget. They certainly don't have a ton of expertise when it comes to filmmaking or whatever, but they just took their unique and interesting and funny personalities and they combined them with gaming and or pop culture, and they have popular video series on the internet. If they could do that, I think I could do that, because people say all the time that I'm a funny guy and I'm an entertaining guy and I'm an interesting guy, so maybe I can convert that into this new revolution of internet video. And like, that's history. Like, it really was those two guys who completely inspired me to do videos. And it's hilarious because when I started making videos on YouTube in 2008, this was before a lot of people did on-the-fly commentary on gameplay. And, you know, a lot of the times I would swear at the game or be angry, and people would say, you're just a knockoff Angry Video Game Nerd. Like, I'm doing a live playthrough, a let's play of a game, and doing live commentary. James has never done that. I mean, just because I swear at a game because I'm angry at a part doesn't make me the Angry Video Game Nerd. Like, they're not even the same thing. But that was the thing. I was one of the few people who did it back then. So everyone who made a gameplay that they were angry at the game was accused of being a knockoff of the Angry Video Game Nerd at that time. So anyway, yeah, James actually inspired me through his entertaining videos to show that you don't need a ton of expertise or money or any of that to make it big on YouTube. And the rest is history. So he was absolutely an inspiration to me. All right. And by the way, James didn't even start on YouTube. He got more popularity on YouTube later, but he wasn't even doing stuff for YouTube to begin with. So just shows even more talent that he had. He didn't rely on YouTube to become super popular. From Leak, he says, are you going to try Pokemon Go? If you're not aware, Pokemon Go is the new app. See if I can get it to open here. I have it. I got it last night. It was released in the United States last night. It's a game on your phone where you walk around. Boy, that is not... Oh, there you go. You walk around with your camera, and in virtual reality, it's... What do they call that? Altered reality or whatever? They put Pokemon in the real world on your phone, and you can recruit them, catch them, and recruit them, and then you do Pokemon battles with them. All right? First of all, my app is glitched. Every single time that I boot it up, it asks me to create a character again. Even though I've created the character 7 times, it's still glitched. And then after I create my character, it says, oh, the character already exists. But I'm going to show you, it doesn't work. At least for me, I haven't been able to get the game to work at all on my phone. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So here it is. Right? There it is. I'm trying to get an angle here. There, now you can see it. And it shows Pokemon, right? It shows little Pokemon on the screen near my avatar. If I try to walk, and I tried this morning, actually, Leanna and I went out to do a few errands before I filmed Ask the King today, it doesn't move. Even when I'm outside, it doesn't move. It, like, doesn't recognize that we're walking. So I don't know if the GPS is screwed up. This is the latest version of iPhone, by the way. It's not like it's an old version. It doesn't seem to be working properly for us. I don't know if they could patch it or whatever, but I tried it, and Right now, if I walk through my house, Ash won't move at all. I guess it's supposed to be, not Ash, but your avatar. Doesn't move at all. And we tried walking outside and even driving, and it wouldn't move. So, I don't know what's up. I know it just released. Apparently, I can't get it to work. I don't know. It seems like the simplest thing on the planet, but it doesn't work for me. All right, and then last but not least, the final question of Ask the King. Oh my god, this part's been going on for like 40 minutes. Holy shit. From Mansville2711. What do you think about the final deletion? I thought it was great and the best thing that TNA has done in years. If you don't know what he's talking about, TNA Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, which I used to talk about all the time on Smart Guys, is on its last legs. They have no money left. They're going out of business and or they need to be sold to someone to get money. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy are the two top guys left in the company. Everyone else has quit. I mean, everyone. Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, all the guys that were like synonymous with that company are gone. So they're desperately trying to find something that's going to give them some kind of unique attention. So Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy started doing these like really B-film-like vignettes from their homes. And they are fucking hilarious. They're brilliant. They're so bad that they're actually good. And Matt Hardy's acting like this crazy dude. Half his hair is streaked like blonde. And he's talking like he has an accent, a British accent, which is hilarious because he's fucking from the deep south. He has a southern accent. It's so funny. And they just did this big overblown thing. It was supposed to be the final deletion, the fight for the Hardy name. Whoever wins this will have the rights to the Hardy franchise, which, what the fuck is the Hardy franchise, right? Matt versus Jeff in a backyard wrestling match that they filmed like a movie. So they were fighting each other with jump cuts in the ring. Jeff jumped out of a tree and Matt was hitting him with fucking trellises and shit from the yard. And it ended up where Matt was on top of this fucking giant flaming logo and fell into a dirt pit. And then Matt hit Jeff with the finisher and pins him. And now Matt Hardy's supposed to be like the dominant Hardy. It's so silly, but it's definitely going viral on the internet. It's so out of control and wild that, I'll be honest, I don't know if it's intentional or not. If it is intentional to be that silly, it's probably the best thing done in wrestling in a long time. Because unlike WWE, that tries to take itself so seriously, but then when they get silly, the silly is over-the-top stupid. This is kind of like tongue-in-cheek, we know pro wrestling is fake. Right, tongue-in-cheek, and I did this. What was that? Tongue-in-cheek, so fish hook my hook. I don't know. Tongue-in-cheek, we know wrestling is fake, so we're going to do the most silly, overblown, over-dramatic possible plotline you could ever see in pro wrestling. I thought it was entertaining. I did. I don't know where they're going with it. I don't know if it's going to save TNA. It probably isn't, but it was something unique and different, and you know what? It's been a while since we've seen that in pro wrestling, so at least that remains to be said. They did do something different. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 60 of Ask the King. I would like to thank you for watching. Please remember, you can post up the thread in the forums right now for the next episode, which will take place in early September. So by all means, please do. Keep in mind, you can pledge to my Patreon. $20 will earn you the right to get your question guaranteed answered on the show. Okay? So please consider it, and it supports my efforts, obviously, of being able to do this full time. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in 2 months for the next episode of Ask the King. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Brother Nero.